Hi.
Here we go. And we're going to talk a little bit about, first of all, FloSpine, but also a brand new, pretty brand new, right?
Yeah.
Pretty brand new procedure. And I'll let you take it away.
Yeah,
right?
it's pained in FDA clearance.
Yes.
So we've been going back and forth with the FDA, but we're getting close. Got some last cadaveric tests we need to do. So this device, a little bit about FloSpine. We do sell other products, pedicle screws, cervical plates, inner body cages. But this device, we came across this, worked with a surgeon. Typically there's a lot of inner spinal spaces out in the market. And, those typically go in between the spinous process over here. And there have been some issues with those where you can get fracture off a spinous process. And so we thought, how can we make this process better? So we came up with an expandable cage, or expandable interlaminar device. So how this goes in is going to go in past your spinous process and go in between the lamina, and then it gets expanded in situ. So,
I think that's a big point, right?
Right.
Kind of just call it an interlaminar device. So it's resting on the lamina.
Yeah, in between. Correct? You want to get it in between the lamina.
Yeah. So we're going to show it off a little bit how we're going to do the procedure as well, but let's keep going. But I think that's something that a lot of people, it should perk your eyes up a little bit, saying, okay, how does this work? What does this do? And how does this actually open up the space? So I'm excited to see this. I've seen it once at your office, I think, in practice.
Exactly.
The other thing I think we glossed over, this is pre-FDA approval, so it's pretty cool for MedEd Combine.
Yeah,
right? This is what we want to do, is get these kind of devices or techniques at least in front of you. You can't get trained on it yet,
right?
But we want you to have this on your radar, maybe even have investment opportunities with these companies. We want our doctors leading the way, kind of what we just talked about. We want the doctors leading the way in medicine with these devices. So we're really excited to have you guys on here, because this is the first time we've had a pre-FDA approval device, and I think it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, and also, we also looking at the interventional pain market as well.
Yeah.
Spine surgeons will do this, but they'll probably might do a full laminectomy.
Yeah.
But I think if you can do this, in an outpatient basis, do a small incision, you can do this in 20-25 minutes. The patient gets immediate relief. We've been talking to some doctors, especially in South Florida. There's a lot of older patients, right?
Yeah.
So, one of the doctors would say she doesn't want to put in pedicle screws and do a full fusion. But if you can put this in, if it gives the patient another 4 or 5 years of relief, and maybe you have to go do a fusion after, that's fine. But at least, we don't know the long-term results of this either. So.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
And I'm sure the studies will come and the real life data will come, so it's exciting.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
And also, so we have two different sizes. We have one which goes into the lumbar spine, which I can show you here. Thank you.
So I think this is pretty impressive too. They thought about most things.
Yeah, right.
Almost everything, right?
We have this one, but the little teeth are a little bit different, and that'll go into the L5S one. You can see that there.
You can kind of hold it up to this camera.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Where's mine? Okay, so that's the way these teeth are a little bit angled different, so that'll be L5S1. And then we have these ones here, which will go into the lumbar spine.
Yeah.
So eventually, the FDA approval is from T1 down to S1.
So I'm going to play with these a little bit, because I think the L5S1 part is a little new to us for inner spine.
Yeah, there's not a lot of options out there.
No, there's not.
You have a lot of companies that focus from T12 down to L5.
Right, exactly.
But that L5S1 is tricky, and it's a very common site to lose a lot of disc height, to have a lot of collapse, and a lot of times we don't have an option, so they end up going the traditional spinal surgery.
Yeah, right, exactly. And also, there's some products out there which don't really fix to the spine very securely.
Correct.
And you can get,
micromotion,
interspinous fractures, that kind of stuff. And I think you just said this is indicated for up to T1?
Yeah, compared to other interspinous spaces, they're typically from T1 down to S1.
Great.
Although I don't see you putting this in the lumbar, thoracic spine.
No.
I was surprised. I was expecting T12, L1.
Yeah, it's just for FDA indications for 510K.
Great.
Very cool. So why don't we show it? Because I think this is...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's show how we do it here. Because I am very interested. I have a lot of questions.
Right, so I'll quickly just show how this works. So which camera wants to go? This one here?
If you just hold it down.
Yeah,
just hold it right here.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have this little wedge over here, and what that does is, as I turn this, the wedge will move forward, and moving forward, let's get in there. And so what happens is that the teeth start to open on the distal end, and that will give you your expansion. There we go.
So this this little block in here basically moves all the way forward.
Moves forward,
and that's what expands the teeth. Very cool.
In situ, exactly.
Very smart. All right.
So the whole, typically like other interspinous devices, you'll have to go in and you're going to have to remove the ligament over here, the interspinous ligament.
So I think this is a big point for interventional spine.
Right.
Is we've worked in the inner spine space. Mm-hmm. But when we're cutting down, we're going almost down to see dura.
Up to the ligament flavum.
Up to the ligament flavum,
right.
So this might, and do you use fluoro during it, or is it all open?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
You'll do a mini incision, probably 1 to 2 inches. You'll take a rongeur, you're going to take out the interspinous ligament. Yeah, I don't have a rongeur, but you're going to take it out, and then sometimes some surgeons I spoke to will just use a bovie, just cut away with a bovie as well.
Oh, they skip the rongeur stuff. They just use the bovie to cut through. That's great.
Yeah, right. So you want to kind of make a clear channel down to the ligament flavum. Mm-hmm. Once you've done that, you're going to take this device here. You're going to go in, and you're going to basically you can expand it like a trial, and you can see what size you're going to use.
So there you're working. You're going to have the fluoro in lateral.
Yes. Yeah.
At that point.
Exactly. So.
And you'll see the movement even a little bit.
You can do it. Yeah, we've done the 3-4 labs where you actually when you expand it, you'll see the foramen open up and get your height. After that, we have RAS. We have 4 different sizes. So we have 6 up to 12, and the 6 goes to 6 to 10, 8 to 12, 12 to 10 to 12, 10 to 14, and 12 to 16. So 4 millimeters of expansion for each size. So you'll go in, and then basically you'll go in and you're going to rasp this area and basically create a pathway.
Yep.
After that, you're going to get your implant and you're going to load on your device. I'll show it over here. This threads on.
So that loads the implant, and then straight down.
Straight down. You're going to take your mallet and you're going to. The wings, you can also expand the wings to
get them around and then clamp them back down.
Right, exactly. Okay. So you're going to go in.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they only go in.
So I was just about to say this seems like this would be the sticking point.
Right, exactly.
It looks easy here. Every procedure we have we make it always easy. So this would be the part where it might be a little tight.
It can be a little tricky.
But that's nice. You can open them.
How do you open the wings?
You actually have these instruments over here, which kind of fit in between. Like this, and then you
wow, they did think of everything.
Yeah.
So I thought you were just pulling them apart like the pliers.
Yeah. So.
And then you can do that even inside.
No, you have to
take it out.
Yeah, we are looking to make some rasp, which will be like a U-shaped rasp, which can go down and prepare the spinous processes, so you can the U-shaped rasp
around the spinous process.
Right. Yeah, it'll be kind of like a U-shaped rasp.
Just create a little bed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you kind of go down around the spinous process like that.
And you kind of.
Well, that'd be nice to make a little area for fusion.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, because this is a fusion device.
Yes. Yeah.
So and obviously you want to have good fixation onto your spinous processes. Mm-hmm. So we have a rasp. We can go around each side of a spinous process, clear out all the tissue, so you get down to the bone, and make it nice and clean.
You don't have to struggle as much. That's nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we hammer it down.
Yeah. So you're going to go in here. You're going to knock us down. Obviously on fluoro.
And on fluoro. And this is where interventional spine guys might get a little nervous. But I mean, I think it's kind of what we've talked about the whole combine here is, preparation and training is key. You're going to do your pre-op preparation, intra-op preparation. You're going to train on this. This isn't going to be a weekend course that you're going to slam 30s in.
Absolutely.
You practice it in the lab. You practice it in a cadaver lab. Mm-hmm. Practice, get familiar with it. This is what, and I'm talking more than interventional spine guys now. I know there's surgeons on here as well. But this is where our surgical colleagues kind of blow us away. They do many years of this training. We have a 1-year fellowship where, honestly, I bet you 5 years from now even if this is full FDA approved and fully out there, still only 5% of the fellowships will be showing it. Right. So how do you get trained on this? You can't just go away for a weekend and slam it in one cadaver and say you're good to go. Mm-hmm. You have to practice it. And the company will come and help you practice it in a lab nearby. Practice it on these models, on a sawbone model. just get comfortable with it to where it's second nature, just like anything else.
Right.
After practice, you have to.
You got to lay down the foundation, right?
Exactly.
You got to know how to do a bread and butter injection. You've got to know how to do a simple interlaminar. You've got to know how to treat the facets. And then from there, you graduate to maybe doing something like ligamentum flavum removal, right?
Yes.
You might do that. And then from there, you might advance to replacing hardware.
Right, exactly.
So it comes in steps. You've got to build it the right way. Yeah. And I think, like our MedEd Austin event, that's a great place to learn some of these intermediate or advanced procedures, and then also talk to some of the KOLs and say, how do I get better at the basics so that I can build a foundation? That's really important.
Now, there are a lot of, obviously, interventional pain doctors who are putting in,
Oh, yeah. This
so
is right in the wheelhouse.
Right.
Just you have to do the training. I think this is in the wheelhouse of interventional pain. You got to know how to take out the ligament. You have to do a good job too, because what I can see, what I don't want to see is someone get nervous, do a terrible job taking out the ligament, and put it here.
No, exactly.
Too posterior, right? Because then you're going to have the same problems we've had with some other devices.
Right.
I don't think this one will pop out, but maybe it'll pop out. Too much pressure on the spinous process. At that point, you're not doing the interlaminar distraction. Yeah. You're just doing a spinous process distraction. Right. You have to get comfortable with looking at the imaging. Obviously,
getting it deep enough.
Exactly.
Right up to ligament flavum.
So, question for you: when I first saw this, obviously I went diving into it. I was like, "This is pretty cool." To me, how is this? I know how it's different, but then Coflex. There's a lot of surgeons out there have been putting Coflexes in. To me, it's the similar placement to Coflex. Yes. But what's the difference?
Well,
overall?
Obviously, Coflex is not expandable. Where this is where you can get it in. I've been in a couple of Coflex cases. It's difficult to get it all the way down, and you have to do a full laminectomy.
Yes.
Where you literally take it. A lot of times with Coflex, will take down the ligament flavum up and get it right up to the dura.
Right on the dura.
Because it's pretty, the Coflex is pretty bull-nosed, where this is more bullet-nosed, and you can get it in and then expand it inside you. So I think that's a big advantage to the Coflex device as well.
Very nice. So we've hammered it down. Sure. What's the next step?
Hammering it down, we get it in a little bit deeper, and then you're going to put this in and expand it.
All in one. I thought you were going to have to pull it out and then expand it.
You're going to...
And that's pushing that.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough for people to see this. But
it's a little bit tough. I'll take it out afterwards.
I'm going to try to show this. I don't know if we're going to... But this is basically one unexpanded here. I don't know if you can zoom in. Right there. Good. I'll line it up. Try to focus if you can. So that's unexpanded. See that silver part in the bottom there? And then this is expanded.
Right.
See how the silver part has basically pushed up. There we go. Now we got it. So that's the difference there. Pretty impressive way to get that expansion with a simple screw down the hole. I like that you don't have to take that out first because you have the stability still.
Yeah, exactly.
You never lose stability. It's never wobbling in there until it's totally tight. Right. And then do we clamp down the...
Yeah, then you're going to use... We've got these big pliers here.
There we go.
Just going to basically clamp this down here.
And we clamp that against the spinous process.
Yeah. There.
So you really feel like you've provided a proper fusion.
Take this out and you can take a look at it. So that's basically there.
So is this going a little bit deeper?
Very secure.
This is going a little bit deeper than the traditional device.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because you're in between the laminates, so you can try to pull it out. That's really
you can't get that out.
Yeah. So we've done cadaver labs where we literally used it and you actually lifted the body off the table.
I'm not showing anything. I'm so amazed that I forgot we were on camera. Sorry.
Where am I?
That way, right there. So you can see how it's a little bit, it's deeper in there. Yeah. It's nice and snug. It's hard to see that it's against the lamina, but it is down there pushing the lamina apart instead of just spinous process.
Right. I could see this fitting into a nice algorithm where if you have someone who has ligamentum flavum hypertrophy, you're going to take that down. And then you're going to later put this spacer because you have to learn.
Decompression and fusion, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's what surgeons do every day.
Right. There you go.
So, I mean, if you can do that through a hole without, a bunch of destructive mechanisms, and for a patient that can't undergo a full, 4-hour procedure with blood loss and all that, this is perfect for that.
You're maintaining
same day, right? Patients, is this done ASC or hospital?
We're looking to target more in going to ASCs.
Yeah. So same day, goes home.
Yeah, some of our pain doctors said, they're familiar with putting it in inner-spinal spaces. They can do this in 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And the patient can come and leave the same day. And
I also like the profile. It's very thin profile. So if you need to stack multiple levels, you can do that.
Right. Exactly.
So it's been engineered so that if you have an L5S1, you have enough room. Yeah, you still have room. So that's great.
You can do 4 5 as well.
Yeah, you haven't lost too much structure or stability. How about listhesis? How much listhesis are you planning on correcting? Grade 1, a grade 2. Have you guys gotten far enough into that realm of trying to figure out?
No, not right yet, because mainly it's going to be approved for mild to moderate spinal stenosis.
Right.
So, inpatient indication.
You may not get that indication.
Right. Yeah,
but
so
it still end up providing that benefit.
And definitely down the road, we might do like some type of clinical trial. I think will be beneficial to us as well. I think it will be,
absolutely.
Especially if you do some, get some more long-term studies on this device as well.
Okay, great.
So, we're very excited about it. You're seeing a big move of more and more patients going to surgery centers. Going to hospitals, and I think there's going to be
I reckon spine to, or aching spine to, of the 2020s to cardiology of the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Right. So, the interventional cardiologists really took hold of that field in the early 2000s, and I think interventional spine. With that doesn't mean it's a PM&R doctor. Even surgeons are doing much more minimally invasive stuff. One of my partners is doing a lot of endoscopic, things, and I think that's where it's headed. 10 years from now, who knows what this space is going to look like?
Right, exactly.
It's going to be totally.
But it's very exciting. Very exciting to have new procedures like this out there, and I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. And getting it in the hands of the right doctors, getting them trained correctly, and using it for the right procedure, and getting your correct patient, I think is key to making it successful.
Now, Peter, you've had a long history of medical device.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about your background.
Oh, sure.
K2. I think that's going to be fantastic.
So I'm CEO of a company. I'm an engineer, and I've been in spine for over 20 years. I started with Interpol Cross, we developed the first polyaxial pedicle screw back in the day.
Wow, nice.
And every single spine company I worked for got bought. Interpol Cross was bought by Biomed. Then I joined K2M as a startup. There were 6 of us in the beginning, and so they did very successfully. Sold to Stryker for $1.4 billion, and then joined US Spine. I got bought by Amedica in Salt Lake City, and then I started FloSpine 6-7 years ago. So, when we bought one day as well.
I think that's the next thing we can talk about, because the MedEd Combine is about education for devices and education for patient selection, but it's also about education for physicians, how they can get involved in companies like yourself. So, how can they invest? How can they get out there, invest or innovate with you or do studies with you? Is there an investment round open right now?
Right, yes. So we are doing, we're actually approached by a company called Start Engine, and that's, Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful, yeah.
They reached out to us about 4 months ago. They said they're interested in wanting to get more medical device companies involved, and so we went through months and months of due diligence with our lawyers. We registered with the SEC and did all the compliance. So we just launched this over a week ago. So if anyone's interested, you can go to startengine.com/FloSpine, and we're doing a crowdfunding event through them. So it's going very well, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, I just actually looked at the website. It seems almost too easy. I think I know a lot of physicians out there, and this isn't a knock at all physicians, but I think we're not the greatest at being businessmen or investing, because we like to be doctors. Like, we really enjoy just taking care of patients and doing that. But I think it's important, to have that, diversify, not just have your income be just from taking care of patients, but also if you can diversify, work with these companies. Believe me, it helps the companies too to have your brain talking to them. If you talk to Peter, you might right now be thinking, hey, I have a way of clamping that down better, or I have a way of opening that better.
Right.
You might have an engineering background as well. They want to hear this. Believe me, there's no device out there today that hasn't been changed 2 or 3 times already. And most of those changes come from physicians.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you put me into touch with a doctor in
Alabama, Dr. Brad Goodman.
I had a long talk with him yesterday. He's very excited to be.
Yeah.
But one thing he said to me, he said, you know, that just makes perfect sense to me that you have to expand between the interlaminar. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for that.
And that's what MedEd Combine's all about, is kind of creating this network of doctors that are like-minded, want to advance this field. You know, keep pushing. We keep pushing. You have that inner burn inside of you to keep wanting to make something better.
Right.
So thank you very much. I think this is perfect. How can they reach you? What's the best way to reach you?
Go to the website, and if you go to info@flowspine.com, we'll get the emails.
Info@flowspine.com. FLOSPINE.
Yep, just like that.
Florida Spine, right?
Florida Spine.
See, there's no Philly Spine.
I'm sure he's going to open it next. That'll be the anterior approach.
There we go. And AJ, I'm sure you'll have that down. So
this was exciting.
This is excellent.
Thank you
Very
guys
cool
for having us. I
Excellent.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, this is excellent. Reach out to this guy, because this is a chance for you to. He's the CEO. He's the main boss. Reach out to him if you're excited about getting involved in a company and really being a player out there. This is the time to do
We
it.
had a lot of interest.
Yeah.
Sales reps and surgeons, there's a lot of interest.
Yeah.
It really looks unique, you know, in a space where we have a fair amount of options. It really does look very different, and looking forward to it. It's going to be
Thank you guys. Really
Awesome.
appreciate you having us here today.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I'm
guys.
excited to talk more. I really am.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great.